Welcome, language learners from all around the globe, to Listen Up, the podcast that takes you on a captivating voyage through the English language. Whether you've just started your journey or have been navigating the intricacies of English for some time, this podcast is designed to be your trusty compass, guiding you towards fluency and unlocking the wonders of English. I'm your host, Karen, a passionate traveller and an experienced teacher of English as a second language. Join me as we embark on an exciting expedition filled with British history read by a native speaker. Together, we'll conquer the challenges and celebrate the victories of learning English as a foreign language. Each episode of Listen Up will immerse you in a variety of topics, from aspects of British culture, history, and literature. We'll explore useful vocabulary that will empower you to communicate confidently in English. If you want to read along with the podcast, head to my website www.onepawinthesand.com/ESL. The link is in the description. But this podcast isn't just about learning English in isolation. It's about building a community of language learners, supporting one another, and fostering a love of the English language. I encourage you to engage with us through my Patreon page, where you can connect with fellow learners, ask questions, and share your own language journey. So, whether you're sipping tea in Tokyo, walking the streets in Sao Paulo, or studying in a bustling cafe in Berlin, Listen Up is here to accompany you on your quest for English fluency. Join me as we embark on this transformative expedition, where language becomes an adventure and your dreams of effective communication become a reality. Today's episode is called No Escape for MPs. When it comes to quirky and peculiar laws, the British Isles has no shortage of them. From the notorious don't handle salmon in suspicious circumstances to it's illegal to die in the Houses of Parliament. We will look into this one in more detail later in the month. The United Kingdom has a rich history of unusual legislation. But today we're going to delve into the law that doesn't involve fish or the afterlife. We're talking about the curious law preventing British Members of Parliament, or MPs, from resigning. Yes, you heard that right. Once you're in for the long haul. Let's explore this fascinating slice of British political history. Imagine being in a job that you absolutely despise, day in and day out. Most people would dream of handing in their resignation letter and moving on to greener pastures, but not British MPs. According to a peculiar piece of legislation dating back to the 17th century, they are effectively shackled to their positions until the next general election comes along. The law, rooted in the Resignation Act of 1694, states that once an MP is elected, they can't simply say "I quit" and walk away from their parliamentary duties. While this might seem like a draconian measure, it was designed to prevent bribery and corruption. Back in the day, it was common for wealthy individuals to buy off MPs, so the law aimed to make sure that those elected would stick around to fulfill their duties. As with any intriguing law, there are some rather peculiar consequences that have arisen over the centuries. For example, stuck in the middle with you. MPs can't simply resign and call it a day, but they can find creative ways to get around the system. One method is becoming the Crown Steward and Bailiff of the Chiltern Hundreds, or the Manor of Northstead, both of which are paid positions that legally disqualify an individual from holding a parliamentary seat. In essence, these roles offer an odd loophole for MPs to resign, They are alternately used so two MPs can resign at once, but ultimately, they are just a way to save face when leaving the job. Recent office holders include Boris Johnson and Nadine Dorries. Suspended animation. Some MPs who are desperate to leave the world of politics but can't find a way out resort to suspension tactics. They may deliberately misbehave or break parliamentary rules, hoping to get suspended and thereby rendered ineligible to sit as an MP. It's a rather dramatic exit strategy, to say the least. The long goodbye. If an MP wants to leave without resorting to the aforementioned methods, they can wait for a general election. This can be a painfully long and awkward process, especially if the MP is deeply unhappy in their role. Imagine having to endure years of doing a job you despise, all because you legally can't quit. By-election blues. In some cases, MPs who wish to resign are forced to stand for re-election in a by-election, which can be costly and uncertain fare. This is another way the law tries to ensure that elected representatives fulfill their commitments. In today's political landscape, the Resignation Act of 1694 may seem rather archaic and bizarre. After all, modern democracies prioritize the principle of voluntary representation, where elected officials serve their constituents willingly. However, the law still stands, though it has been amended over the years. While it's true the law has largely lost its original purpose of preventing bribery, it does serve as a quirky relic of Britain's political history. It's also a reminder of the enduring, often odd traditions that make British politics so unique. The unusual law preventing British MPs from resigning might seem like an absurd quirk in the modern political landscape. Still, it reflects the historical attempts to maintain the integrity of the parliamentary system. Whether it's through the oddities of the Chiltern Hundreds or the Manor of Northstead, or simply waiting for a general election, British MPs are bound by this law, for better or worse. So next time you're thinking about quitting your job, just be thankful you're not a British MP. Remember that while they can't resign easily, they can certainly find creative ways to escape the unbreakable bond of Parliament. And in the end, this unique aspect of British politics adds a touch of intrigue and amusement to an already fascinating system of government. And that wraps up another episode of Listen Up. I hope you enjoyed learning about my topic today and practicing your English. Remember, the exploration doesn't have to end here. If you have any lingering questions or want to continue the conversation, I've got some great opportunities for you. First off, I offer private lessons for those of you eager to expand your knowledge further, whether it's practicing today's subject or exploring other topics. I'm here to guide you on your English journey. Reach out to me through my website or social media platforms, and let's embark on a personalised learning experience together. I have been involved with training people for more than 10 years. I've been teaching English as a second language for over a year, in which time I have taught over 500 students, many of whom are regulars. But wait, there's more! If you're a devoted fan of Listen Up and want to show your support, consider joining our Patreon community. Your contribution directly helps us bring you more episodes and maintain the quality of our show. Your support truly means the world to me, and we couldn't continue this podcast without you. So whether you choose private lessons or Patreon, or both, I look forward to staying connected and exploring the fascinating realms of English as a second language together. Thank you once again for joining us on Listen Up. Until next time, keep practicing.